Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3455. Today's date is 18th of June 2024. It's been almost like a morning at 8:02 a.m. Okay, yesterday I haven't really recorded Artifact. The reason is that I was at another hometown and that's why I haven't really recorded. Last night I came at 9:30 and I was really tired. I just ate my dinner and just sleep. Okay, so we directly jump into the question. All right, let's go. Okay, yeah. Question is, do you personally feel that social media has become more overly sexualized? Why or why not? Okay, that's a really good question. Okay, yeah. Okay, first of all, where is this question came from and why are you asking this question? Yeah, where is this question came from? Yeah. Um, before I was actually talking about business question and things like that. I talk multiple business question. Um, Yesterday I was at another hometown. Like basically, my sister has an exam, so I went with her. Uh, so while she was actually doing the exam, I was actually sitting outside the examination center hall. Okay, yeah, waiting for her. Okay, because it's in another hometown, so yeah, I have to go with her. So I went there and I just have to wait for the exam complete. During this period of time I was can't do my work. I just nothing really at all. I have my mobile phone and while I was using my mobile phone I was kind of like watching couple of videos on YouTube platform regarding about, yeah, like a Dhruv Rathi videos and something like information video, educational video and something like that. There is a one video is actually suggested that key regarding about how the Indian social media is became more sexualized and things like that, vagara vagara vagara. Well, I knew that it's not really that kind of like a something topic which is kind of like a something unaware of that. I know that right now Instagram is a kind of like a became a soft porn. Yeah. But in the end, in that particular video, that guy was kind of like a mention couple of kind of like a something that key profile. Okay, yeah, that they are kind of like a posting some sort of sexual photos, like not that sexual photo, like not that kind of like completely naked, no, kind of like a something revealing. Okay, yeah, but they mention that all those profile that you are seeing are AI. Okay, artificial intelligence. Like it's not really real human. Like I was like, what the fuck? Oh yeah. Like basically the posting kind of like a sexualized photo on Instagram, that is okay. Yeah, sure. That is okay means I'm not really okay with that, but yeah, chalo. But it's just like when I realized that the photo that I am kind of like a seeing, the sexual photo that I'm seeing, that I'm thinking that that girl is really sexy. In the end, that girl is not. Like entire photo is completely wrong. This is not a real photo. This is AI, artificial intelligence. What the fuck? I was like, ये क्या हो गया? Like basically is this thing, how does I can't even understand the difference between the AI and real photo. I don't know, like when that particular person says this profile are kind of like a something all are AI photos, and I was like, what the fuck? And I just went to the directly into that photo. Okay, directly into that profile, look at the photos. I was kind of like a zooming into the photos and things like that. So I realized that it's not AI photo. Okay, it's a AI filter photo. What is actually this thing? Okay, first of all, what is actually kind of like a stuff that I found. So when I open up the profile photo, I look up the profile photo and then I see that key photos are, yeah, really too sexualized. That is true. Okay, yeah. Now I am a photographer. I am a kind of like a photo editor too. I know Photoshop and Lightroom. and I was kind of like a zooming in that photo, and I was like, I don't really see any imperfection in the photo. Any imperfection. Everything is so good, so great. Everything is perfect. I was like, how is this possible? Like, how everything is so perfect? Like, the lighting is so perfect, the shadows are so perfect, the background is so perfect, the focus, the bokeh is like a really perfect. And I was like, how is this impossible? Because when you take the photo from your camera, how good is your camera? Okay, yeah, it kind of like capture the reality. Okay, and when you capture the reality, it kind of like comes with a imperfection. Like there is some sort of thing that is not perfect. Okay, yeah, like the wrinkles of the skin, or kind of like some sort of juria or whatever it is. There is some sort of stuff. Okay, yeah. Even if you take the portrait, there is some sort of thing. Okay, yeah. Now what exactly happened that after you took the photo, a lot of processing has actually happened. Okay, yeah. When you take the photo from your mobile phone, but when you take the photo from high-end DSLR camera, professional DSLR camera, it doesn't really have any processing. Okay, yeah, like it kind of like capture the what exactly is it available, it can capture that thing. Now when you capture that photo, what exactly, like basically if you went to the ad agency, okay, yeah, they when they capture the photo of the celebrity and things like that, what does they do? They just don't really post the photo on the social media. No, they edit it very heavily through the Photoshop, Lightroom. Everything is kind of like a somebody curated very practically. As well as while taking the photos, celebrities are took photos with very lit condition. Everything is properly light. The background is very properly. Everything is really perfect. Okay, yeah. But the profile that I'm seeing, the person is not really that celebrity. He's not that. She's not that celebrity. Okay, yeah. And as well as according to the photo is not as well as kind of like a something feels like that key that photo is actually taken by the studio. Nothing really at all. Let's just imagine. So there is a girl who is kind of like a sitting on dining table. Okay, yeah. Like basically she's sitting on the chair and kind of like a somebody just laying on the dining table. Okay, yeah. Little bit of sexualized, like a basically she was kind of like a revealing her like a cleavage area throughout the pose and things like that, whatever it is. And I was like, I was kind of like looking that photo and I was like, how is this possible? The lighting is like really perfect. There is a kind of like a things wrong, okay, in that particular photo. Okay, yeah, the background is kind of like a overblown. Okay, yeah, and the subject is really perfect. So like, how is this possible? Okay, yeah, okay, how, like let me tell you one thing in the camera, how is exactly this happened? Okay, yeah. So when you took the photo, when the background get overblown, is because of that the lighting in the face, lighting in the subject is kind of like a very less. Like basically when you took the photos, okay, yeah, the camera is actually kind of like a try to figure it out the subject. In this particular photo, there is a girl face is a subject. Okay, yeah. So, but the lighting on her was really less. Okay, yeah, as compared to the background. But important is the subject, so that's why it just kind of like overblown the background. Like like even if the background has a kind of like a so much bright light, but still it's kind of like a pump up the ISO. So when the ISO increase, the sensitivity of the light is actually increased. The sensitivity of the light is increased. So the her face is kind of like a something look little bit of visible. But according to the process, the actually the lit background is kind of like a became overblown by the extreme amount of ISO and things like that. Okay, yeah. Right now we have in mobile phone we have HDI feature. Okay, HDI, yeah, like yeah, HDI, sorry, I don't know, there is a kind of like a sort of feature where you could kind of like a take a photo and kind of like a mobile phone has a kind of like a create the layers of subject and background, and it kind of like a something making the proper exposure regarding about the subject and background too. Okay, so that everything shouldn't supposed to be blown. Okay, but this photo is a kind of like a little bit blown because that background is kind of like a something overexposed by the light, and the subject is look really perfect. And I was like, okay, this actually happened from your camera phone, that is okay, yeah. but in this particular process there is some sort of thing happen. Okay, so when you took the photo from this condition, like you pump up the ISO and things like that, it create noise. Okay, yeah, the noise that you created that easily visible on subject face, because subject face is not properly lit, is not probably kind of like a light up. Okay, yeah, so there is some sort of noises will definitely gonna create. How much good camera is it, or maybe whatever it is, there is some sort of imperfection, some sort of noise will gonna create. There is no noise. I was like, how is this possible? Okay, maybe her camera is kind of like a really good camera, probably like a Sony A7, Sony's A7S3 maybe. Okay, yeah, DSLR or high end camera. So probably this would be happen. Okay, yeah, so there is no noise, so that is okay. But in the screen everything is look really perfect. Okay, yeah. There is also another thing. Okay, yeah. So when you took the photo, there is a multiple distance layers of object. Okay, yeah. What do you mean by that? Okay, yeah. So you have a camera, within a feet there is some sort of object. Let's just say imagine a kind of like a something a plant. Okay, yeah. After 2 feet there is a subject which is main focus, main person that we wanted to take the photo, and after the 10 feet there is a background. Okay, so there is a 3 layers of subjects. Okay, yeah, you are focusing on middle one. Okay, yeah, you are focusing on middle one, so rest of the get blur. Okay, this is actually happened because of your lens. Okay, so when you focus the lens and you kind of like a focus on subject, so what exactly happened that it kind of like add the blur not only in the foreground but as well as background too, so that the subject looks really clear, right? In this photo the background is blur, that is definitely sure. Foreground is very clear, as well as the center, as well as kind of like the person who is actually sitting is also really focused. And I was like, how is this possible? Like the difference between the foreground and subject is almost like a 1 feet. Okay, yeah. And looking at the blur quality that I'm seeing, it might be kind of like a simply f1.4 or 1.5. Okay, yeah. This is kind of like a depth of field. Okay, I'm talking about little bit of technical over there. Okay, yeah. So when you went to the f1.5 or f1.3, this might be kind of like a very depth of field. That means the very less amount of part of frame is literally focus and rest of the defocus, rest of everything is blur. Okay, yeah. So in this particular situation everything should supposed to be blur. In just her face should supposed to be properly in focus and everything should supposed to be blur, means background as well as foreground, everything should supposed to be blur. But in this photo the foreground is clear as well as her face is clear and background is blur. I was like, how this happened? Because I could see the difference from the foreground and subject. Okay, there is might be maybe 1 or 2 feet kind of like a distance. And regarding about the depth, regarding about the blur quantity, because I'm seeing the background blur, it's kind of like a feel that it's 1.4 or 1.3. Okay, it's really that blur. Okay, yeah. So how this thing happened? How the foreground is very clear, it should supposed to be blur, but it is fully focused. And I was like, what? Like if I take the camera, if I took the like basically this thing regarding about like the exposure setting that I already talked about, the background is properly so much out of blown. Okay, that is for sure. Okay, yeah, that is true. Okay, it does not create noise. Chalo मान लेते कि it like basically is this thing that it is actually happened because of the high end camera. They have kind of like a capable enough to kind of like a reduce the noise with very less amount of time. So yeah, that is good. But blur, depth of field, camera didn't really lie with the depth of field. Okay, yeah, camera always knew what is actually subject and it focus on that. It like when I see the foreground is very clear, equally kind of like a clear as subject, and then I was like, how is this thing possible, dude? How is this possible? This is because this it shouldn't supposed to happen, because which camera or how much high-end camera or you make kind of like a something very expensive camera in the world and you wanted to take the photos, with a prime lens. I'm talking about like a basically prime lens is a kind of like a very expensive lens, okay, yeah, or maybe cinema lens. Like let's just say like I'm using very high end camera with high end lenses and things like that. I want to take the photos. In all the situation, subject should supposed to be clear, foreground and background should supposed to be blur. This is the rule. Okay, this kind of like a rule. Okay, yeah. But when the foreground is clear, I just like, this is wrong. This is definitely wrong. Even if your mobile phone, when you take the photos, like in your mobile phone doesn't really have any aperture control, nothing really at all. It doesn't really vent, but it kind of like add the artificial depth of field because of the software intelligence and things like that. But still you can kind of like a choose to focus. Like you just have to tap the screen and you just have to choose to focus where you want to, and it can take a photos. Okay, yeah. But in this photo, the foreground is clear. I was like, how this thing is actually happened. Okay, yeah. And I was like, and I think that like at that time I realized that this is the AI photo. Yeah, it's an artificial intelligence photo. I was like, chalo, like I just found that it's an artificial intelligence photo. So yeah. So in that particular photo, let me tell you how much likes that has. Okay, it has almost like a 7 lakh likes. Okay, 7 lakh likes. Okay, almost like a maybe 10 to 20,000 comment, okay, in that particular photo. Okay, yeah. Might be other people would kind of like a see it better. So I was reading the comment. Everyone is actually saying this thing: you are really beautiful, you are really great, you are so sexy, you are so hot, and things and that. I was scrolling through so many comment. Everyone kind of putting the heart emoji and things like that. I was like, does everyone not really know is an AI photo? Yeah, like basically I'm scrolling through every comment. Every comment is kind of like a putting the heart emoji, beautiful emoji, sexy emojis, sexy. It's just like, what the fuck? Like basically I didn't really read the every entire almost like a 20-30 comment, 20-30,000 comment, but still I just scrolling very fastly and everyone is kind of like a somebody just emoji and kind of like a somebody, yeah. I was like, people don't really knew that it's a AI photo, because I definitely knew that AI photo, because I like how, dude, just like you knew it's a AI photo is because of you have information regarding about photography. You knew that what is actually the photo looks like, that you know all the technical strategy regarding about the depth of field, ISO and things like that. So that's why you could kind of like a differentiate between the photos. Yeah, but it just like, I don't know, it felt really wrong. Okay, yeah. Like let's just imagine, okay, yeah. You are a model and you wanted to kind of like a post a sexy photo. No one is that like, there is no wrong to kind of like a uploading sexy photo on Instagram. You could do that, it's not really wrong. But when that taking a photo is wrong, or maybe kind of like a simply the photo that you are taking, the entire photo is kind of like a made up, it just like, what the fuck is that? I mean, like that, she is actually uploading her sexy photo, and in the end, in that her photo, she's not even sexy. She was not even there. It was completely AI. What the fuck is that? Oh my god! I was like, and then I kind of like realized that, dude. Okay, yeah, this is something really like. Then I realized that what kind of like a prompt they are using to generate this photo. Then I kind of like looking at another photo. Okay, yeah. So basically there is a one thing I realized, that okay, it's not completely AI photo. No, the photo is taken, the model is there, exactly is there, yeah, but the photo editing is actually happened very intensively. Okay, yeah, with the AI filtration, with kind of like a something body gesture and things like that. So what exactly happened? Okay, so when you edit the photo, okay, yeah, you have kind of like a multiple things to control. Okay, lights and exposure and kind of like a things that in a Lightroom you could do that. Okay, yeah. In Photoshop you could do even more editing. Okay, yeah, but kind of like a something is this thing. Like a Lightroom and Photoshop is kind of like a something like giving you little bit of something like helpful hand to kind of like edit the photo if there is a photo is wrong. Yeah, but in her photo there is a, like I scroll through multiple photos of her. Okay, yeah. In every photo she is actually revealing her body, revealing her cleavage and things like that. I seen there is a difference between her boobs size. in every photos. Yeah, every so like some like the she wanted to kind of like making her boobs as much as bigger that she want, but in every photo her boob size is little bit different in every photos. I was like, how? Oh yeah, and it's a kind of like a only very visible difference. It's not really visible difference. It's a kind of like a only a minor difference. Like if you went so closely, then you realize that ki the boob that I seen in previous photo is little bit bigger than this photo is little bit smaller. What is that? Okay, what is that? Okay, so let me tell you one thing. The kind of like something the medical procedure regarding about the looking good. Okay, I'm not really sure about all those medical procedure, but there is a kind of like only Botox surgery. Okay, so what's a Botox surgery? I'm not really sure about. I am not really aware of those surgery and things like that. But what are the information that I have? Just letting you know. Okay, yeah. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but whatever it is. Okay, so in the Botox surgery, there is a kind of like a some multiple feature of women body part make it enhance. Okay, yeah, through the medical thing. How? Make the boob little bit bigger, make the hip little bit curvy, and lips are little bit kind of like a something just I don't know what is actually called a head or things like that. Kind of like a lips are something much bigger, but I don't know. Like basically, a normal people have a lips like a let's just say my lips. My lips are kind of like a very normal. It is not like a head. It's not kind of like a somebody in front of my face. Like a it's not kind of like a something. My lips are kind of like a part of my face. It doesn't look like that kind of like a somebody. No, it's I don't know how do I supposed to say, like it's a kind of like a thing that you just easily that you could see it's a difference. Okay, let's just say there is an actress name, what is actually her name, Disha Patani. Okay, yeah, like look at her photos previously in when she was actually doing a serial. Her photos are kind of like a very differently, but when she was in the acting business, when she was in the film acting business, her face is kind of like a very differently. Her kind of like a somebody the lips are little bit bigger. Little I'm not really sure what is at least that surgery called. So whatever, this is the kind of like a surgery. Okay, yeah. So in this particular surgery, you could increase the boob size, you can increase the hip size and things like that. I'm talking about as a girl point of perspective. Okay, yeah. So okay, so in this particular surgery, I'm not really sure about what is actually surgery, and I don't know what is actually in detail, nothing really at all. But there is a one thing for sure is that when you make that particular surgery, let's just imagine when you increase the boob size, you increase the boob size at some certain amount of limit. Okay, some certain thing. Okay, like whatever the boob size that you want, it has that boob size. Okay, yeah. It doesn't mean that ki boob size should supposed to be change every single day. No, nothing really happened na. Okay, like basically I make this surgery, my boob is kind of like a something, let's just imagine 18 number, then tomorrow might be 17 number. No, nothing really at all na. Like what, like I'm not really sure is it happened, maybe it happened, I'm not really sure, but this is what it is. Or maybe difference is actually happened regarding about the size with very huge distance amount of time, like after maybe 10 year or 20 year, then might be kind of like a you see little bit of difference in boob size. But most of the time is it was kind of like a something very bit something really common na. It's kind of like a something this thing that key like it's like the right size. Okay, yeah. But when I see her photo, her boob size is somewhat something little bit different, and I was like, how is this possible? How is this thing? Okay, yeah. And basically I use the Photoshop too. Okay, I use the Photoshop. Okay, yeah. So what kind of like something editing that they are doing? Okay, yeah. Maybe they are increasing the book size with the Photoshop. Yeah, but when you are doing it that na, it's a kind of like a okay. Let me tell you how you're supposed to do that. Okay, yeah. So in the Photoshop, if you wanted to increase the boob size and things like that, what just have to you just have to select the area of that particular boob size, increase the kind of like a little bit of like a do the warp. Okay, when you warping or you just kind of like a distort and things like that, you just increase the size and things like that. Yeah, but when you are doing this thing, it kind of like a distort the rest of the things are connected to. Like a let's just imagine in your boob size, there is a kind of like a simply bra is actually connected to the boob size. Okay, means like that bra is kind of like a determine na, ki how much bigger is boob size. Okay, yeah. So when you kind of like a simply the mess with this thing, mess with the kind of like a simply photo of that particular area where you wanted to increase the boob size in the photo editing. Okay, yeah, you will destroy the shape of the bra. Okay, you will destroy the shape, like the straps of the bra is not really connected with the kind of like a end to end. So this would be kind of like a simply would kind of happen. Okay, yeah. So the kind of like a something, the editing is not really perfectly smooth. Okay, yeah, because when you are trying to use a distort effect, it doesn't really add that much perfectly. Okay, yeah, like there is some sort of thing that messed up. So I was like kind of like imagining how does they do that, how does they kind of like a something this thing. Okay, yeah. So recently, recently what has actually happened, I seen she was kind of like a something, I don't know, but I just kind of like a seen a kind of like a something advertisement. Okay, yeah. In that particular advertisement, um, um, a photo editing advertisement. Okay, it's a software, by the way. Okay, yeah. So in the software, you just click the photo of whatever you want to take the photo. Okay, yeah. Now what is actually is this thing? This is the AI editing photo. Okay, yeah. Means like that you shouldn't supposed to do anything at all. Like AI will do anything at all. AI will do everything. You just have to kind of like do the slider. Okay, yeah. Means like that what is actually happened. So in this software, you just took the photo of yourself, mostly a girl. You took the photo of the girl. Okay, yeah. Make sure that whatever the part that you wanted to highlight, that should supposed to be focused, the butt size or boob size or lip size, whatever it is. Okay, you just have to click the photo and things like that. Oh yeah. Now what is actually happened in that particular software? There is a slider. Okay, yeah, there is a little bit slider. Yeah, just legit slider. Okay, yeah. You just slide up to increase the boob size, and slide up to increase the butt size, to slide up to increase the kind of like a lips, and it happened automatically, by the way. Like I'm not kind of like a selecting any mask or things like that. No, nothing really at all. There is no selection happened. Everything happened with artificial intelligence. Okay, yeah. With all the pimples on all the wrinkles that they have, it just kind of like a reduced by the kind of like a slider, just like kind of like a somebody put the slider, so there is no wrinkle, there is nothing at all. Lighting is kind of like a somebody managed by just a slider. You just kind of like a slide this thing, and lighting is kind of like a perfectly managed with just slider. You just have to slide this thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, like basically if you wanted to execute this thing in Photoshop, there is a so much hectic process, dude. So much. You just not only select the part of the frame, but as also properly distort, properly kind of like a expand. While doing this thing, you have to make sure that key rest of the part of the photo shouldn't supposed to be distort and things like that. And it's a very very minute detail, dude. It's a very minute. It's a very subtle kind of like editing you should supposed to do, because if you wanted to do over, then probably it kind of like a really messed up. Like basically it should supposed to be look natural but look good. It's like that. It's a very subtle editing, and if you wanted to do this thing, if you wanted to implement it in Photoshop, it's a very hefty work, dude. Like it's a very very hefty work. You just have to create almost like hundreds of layers of that particular photos of this particular size and things like that, distort it properly, lighting, exposure, highlight. What the fuck? There is so many settings you're supposed to do. You should supposed to mess up in the Photoshop. But in this application, in mobile application, I'm not talking about any kind of like application in PC. No, I'm talking about application in mobile phone. You just have to click the photo, just a slider. You just increase the slider, the boob size is increased. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, ये क्या है यार? I was like, what the fuck? Okay, yeah. The boob size increase, the hip size is increased, the wrinkles, everything is gone, the pimples are everything is gone, the lighting is so perfect, and I was like, this is what exactly what that photo looks like. Okay, yeah, because like when you take the normal photo, there is a photo went through multiple stages that looks really beautiful or not. It depends on the background, subject, and things like that. But that editing software can do anything at all. Like basically it can swap the entire face. Like literally you just put Megan Fox body with your face. Like, and the swapping is so clever that you just can't even imagine that. Like the body is actually from Megan Fox, and I am kind of like a facing my swap into her, and the transition between happen is so smooth. Like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Okay, this is like a really incredible software that I didn't really knew that. And I am a photographer. I am a photo editor. I I knew how much difficult process is this to do that stuff. But this AI photo editing thing was like mind blowing, dude. You just not only control the lighting, depth of field, ISO, exposure control, book size, nose size, face size, eye, like you can control everything. Like even if you have a guy and you want to take a photo and you need apps, you just slide the app. There is app is actually visible. Okay, yeah, you could kind of like a something, and what I'm trying to tell you, it looks so real, like legit real, like basically you need a kind of like a somebody, a guy who is kind of like have information regarding about photography in Photoshop. That person could understand this thing, this is might be something wrong in the photo, but the normal people are not really aware of all those settings and things like that. So when they see that particular photo, when they see that thing, they think that that guy is a real guy with the real apps and real boobs and things like that. It's like, what the fuck, this editing software, I just kind of like a scene, I was like blown my mind. And this is what she exactly using this thing. Okay, means like that, the she was actually taking her photos. Okay, by the way, yeah, she's actually taking her photos, she's real. Okay, she's real, she had some sort of Botox surgery, whatever it is. Okay, yeah, but the kind of like a something, the photo that she was actually taking, the editing that she was actually doing on that particular software. Yeah, that particular application there, she was actually increase the boob size, butt size, whatever it is. Okay, yeah, I was like blown out. And because of her photos, she getting almost like a 2 lakh 3 lakh followers on Instagram platform. Just a photo, there is no reel at all, there is no video at all, just kind of like a something over sexualized photos. And she was getting almost like half of millions of followers. Like, dude. Okay, yeah. So regarding about question, the question is that do you feel like that social media is over sexualized? Well, yeah, it is over sexualized. It's like that na regarding about, as I mentioned earlier, regarding about all the tools that we have, all the AI features, AI editing softwares and applications and this and that, you can become more sexier so easily, so cheap. Even if you don't really have any body, you can become a sexy. Yeah, you can become a sexy, yes, by just clicking on the slider, clicking on the button and things like that, and you will get almost like a millions of follower. And this is true, by the way, this is true not only for girls but as well as guys too. Like basically you took the photos of guy, if you add you add kind of like a biceps or kind of like a apps or things like that, everything is actually happened on that software. So basically, like let me tell you how like basically what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. Maybe 5 years ago, yeah, being too sexy is a very difficult thing. Okay, let me tell you a thing in realistic point of perspective now. I'm telling you my I watched a little bit of kind of like a something like a documentary regarding about the fashion model. Okay, yeah, fashion model are really sexy. Okay, their jobs to being sexy. Okay, yeah, and how they became sexy is kind of like a doing the fasting, doing the gymming, everything. They are always in low carbs, they are always in calorie deficit diet. Okay, yeah, means they are not meant to be kind of like a somebody stand. Okay, yeah, they are kind of like a somebody eating only liquid food, not solid food, because solid food add the kind of like a fats inside. So they are always kind of like a drinking just juice and things like that. Okay, yeah, I am talking about kind of like something very high-end profile models, by the way, very high-end. Okay, like a Kindle Jenner or things like that, those are kind of like a something high-end model. Okay, yeah, being a sexy is a torturous, like legit torturous. Okay, you just have to went through your body with so much torture and things like that. All the medical profession, everything is kind of like a mention that thing ki being too sexy is like really dangerous thing. Because like basically, let me tell you one thing now, ki while they are kind of like a walking on fashion week, they just have only that energy. Rest of the time they just faint. They can't, like they don't really have a diet. Like basically from last week they are just kind of like a drinking, they just drinking, they are not taking any solid food, nothing really at all. They just kind of like a drinking juice, this and that, vitamins, this like that. Okay, yeah. The what I'm trying to tell you, being too sexy 5 years ago was so difficult, so much difficult. Literally, just like that, you just have to die being too sexy. So that's why there are so very less women, are so many less girls are kind of like a being too sexy or kind of like a somebody is this thing. Because yeah, because society, first of all, the society is not really accepting this thing. Yeah, you will get the kind of like a follower on Instagram and things like that, but in real, in respect, you don't really get any respect at all, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. So after all those things 5 years ago, people are kind of like a doing it being too sexy, it was kind of like a very difficult. So very less people are kind of like a something have very sexy photo and things like that. Okay, yeah. But right now, since the AI and things like that, everything happened just like that. Just click out the finger of the tips, and yeah, you don't have to do a diet, you don't have to do good gym, you don't have to do anything at all. You don't have to drink the kind of like something like the just a liquid food. Yeah, even if you took the pizza, you just ate the so much amount of pizza, or you have a just amount of belly, don't really, you just have to take the photo. Software can do anything at all, everything. Yeah, I was like, dude, what kind of like a somebody era that we are entering. It's but regarding about the over sexualized, regarding about the technology that we have, regarding about everything, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. Every time when the new technology come up, internet, mobile phone, or whatever it is, we use that technology for wrong purposes. Let's just imagine internet. Yeah, when the internet came, internet like a like ask this question yourself honestly. Okay, yeah, what is actually like when the internet came, what kind of like a site that you are kind of like a somebody look up to. Okay, yeah, like basically, let me tell you one thing. First time I opened the internet, okay, yeah, like first time I opened up the internet on kind of like a somebody the kind of like a at net cafe and things like that. I just wanted to download some sort of photos, I download some sort of song and things like that. Okay, yeah. But at the early phase of my internet accessing, I was kind of like a watching some sort of porn, or kind of like a looking at any sexual thing or something like that. Okay, yeah. I was kind of like a Google naked girl. Okay, yeah. And Google is actually showing me naked girl at that time. Okay, yeah. So basically, this is kind of like a somebody first time that I kind of like exposed with the internet. Because when you when you improve, or when you kind of like a invent some sort of technology or things like that, that technology first used for wrong purposes. Okay, yeah. Like basically AI, like I know artificial intelligence is really good, really great. Like there are like so many good things that people should supposed to be do with the AI, but people are not doing it. People are kind of like doing it with wrong purposes, with kind of like something enhancing the sexualism and things like that, and something like that. Okay, yeah. Can this will stop? Can this kind of like sexual thing will gonna stop? I'm not really sure. Regarding about the number point of perspective, I haven't really seen that. Because like if I just open up the Instagram, there is another model who is kind of like selling some sort of online photos in Instagram, in OnlyFans, kind of like something like that. So that is literally common, by the way, now. Okay, yeah. It stop. It is definitely gonna stop. It stop at somewhere where people are kind of like somebody just not actually aroused by the sexual thing. Okay, yeah. But how this thing will gonna happen? Because our human body, like as a man, as a human, we are kind of like meant to do sexual activity. Okay, yeah. Like regarding about the whatever the age that we have, sexual urges has always be there. Okay, yeah. Like basically people are getting sexy at the age of 60 or things like that. So it's not really that key kind of like somebody the sexual urges will not gonna go on, because in the end the sexual urges is actually doing all those things now. Okay, yeah, like basically she was actually uploading photo. Why she was actually uploading this kind of like a photo is because of that people liking it. People are kind of like putting the photo, getting the follower and things like that. Okay, yeah, she gained almost like a 3 lakh subscriber within almost like a 2-3 months. How she get that thing is because of the people like it. People are really horny all the time. Okay, and they watch kind of like this content and things like that, and she was actually kind of like a serve those content. Okay, so her point of perspective, is it wrong? Like, she is not revealing her body first of all. Okay, yeah. The AI does. She just took the photo. Okay, yeah, AI does everything regarding about all the sexual thing. Okay, yeah, and she was uploading photo and she's earning money. Okay, so she was not actually doing any wrong. Okay, yeah. She was not kind of like taking any wrong photo thing. No, no, nothing really at all. The AI does everything. Okay. Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to tell you, it, I'm not really sure. I didn't really see in the future. Okay, yeah, maybe in the future, maybe over sexualized become really normal thing or very common thing. I'm not really sure what will gonna happen. But yeah, do you accept this thing that ki the kind of like a something, the all the sexual, the social media became too sexual? Is it kind of like a right? Yeah, it is right. Yeah, it is right. All right, this is it. I should supposed to be in here, and thank you.